Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for Northern Ag TV. I recently caught up with Justin Tupper, U.S. Cattlemen's Association president, while he was on his way home from the Common Ground Summit in Denver. During this event, hosted by the Livestock Marketing Association, producers and industry stakeholders met to discuss some of the big issues affecting the industry.
Tax reform, really something that a lot of people can get behind, and we did a lot of work on that, working on trying to get some of the young producers back to these farms and ranches was high on the topic list. Transportation, and we breached a lot of topics, and I think we found some very good common ground.
Tupper said they will be coming out with a press release today with more details on those discussions. We also talked about the Meat and Poultry Special Investigators Act that was reintroduced by senators this year.
It gives a special investigator the power to work in some of these areas, especially with the meat packers, where we see concentration issues and violations of the Packers and Stockyards Act. It gives them investigative and judiciary power, get some enforcement done on what we think some of the issues have been for a long time abused. The meat inspector, he can do some things that the normal attorney generals can't. They would work on competition issues exclusively. So I think it would be a good thing for producers if we get this enacted.
A federal appeals court has turned down a request from environmental groups to make the EPA tighten rules on concentrated animal feeding operations, also known as CAFOs. The groups, led by Food and Water Watch and the Center for Biological Diversity, were challenging the EPA's 2017 decision not to change the rules. The court said the EPA followed the law and didn't act unfairly. The court said the EPA is aware of pollution problems and is looking into possible changes, but doesn't have to act right away. Ag industry groups like the National Pork Producers Council and the American Farm Bureau supported the EPA. They argued the current rules already limit pollution and that some states go even further. In the end, the court agreed with the EPA, saying it has the authority to decide how to handle CAFO pollution. On Thursday, MSU's College of Ag and the Montana Ag Experiment Station announced that registration is open for this year's 406 Grazing Academy, happening on June 3rd through the 5th in Havre. This year's event has educational speakers, live grazing demonstrations, and in-class instruction focused on soil health and texturing, stocking rate and density, plant identification, animal nutrition, and economics of grazing systems. May 15th is the deadline to apply. And if you haven't seen Courtney and I's USC Speak Your Mind Challenge yet, you might want to. You may be familiar with the Ice Bucket Challenge that people were participating in years ago to raise awareness for ALS. Well, now, this time around, the Ice Bucket Challenge is to spread awareness about mental health, calling it the Speak Your Mind Challenge. We shared it on the Beyond the Weather page and are advocating for rural mental health challenges specifically. And many have said it, but if you watch the video, it does look like Andy and Colton had the most fun as the pourers.
Go ahead and, you use what you have, make it officially an Ice Bucket Challenge. And then now what do? We just stand here. This is the painful part, Grace. Are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready.
Watch it on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, Beyond the Weather Movement. We'll be back with the markets after this.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Thanks for joining us back for the markets. Well, the live cattle complex felt the majority of pressure on Friday. However, the feeders did carry the board higher. Traders were unsure of which direction to go on Friday ahead of what packers and feedlots decided to do as they held out until the bitter end to make any sales. The export report on Thursday showed that beef net sales were down significantly from the previous week at 10,300 metric tons. However, the box beef prices continue to indicate strong demand as choice cuts are rising most days. Just under 6,000 head of calves sold in Dickinson yesterday with Just under 6,000 head of calves sold in Dickinson last week with a large offering of heifers. 5 to 550 pound heifer calves sold for an average of $367 per hundredweight. Heavy 5s at $351. The light 600 pound heifers had the most receipts, almost 600 head, averaging $330. And the grain complex continues to be stuck in this slump of trading a little bit under and over the zero mark. Fresh lows were reached in the last week's trade, pressured by the rains that swept through a lot of key growing areas. Still some much needed rain. New crop wheat export sales were well above trade expectations, helping wheat to rebound some last week. However, old crop had net cancellations. That's it for Northern Ag TV. Thanks for joining us and have a great week.